In this video, I will tell you the moving story of Anna, a mother who, despite the difficulties, dreamed of giving her children a special new year. Thanks to the guidance of a wise old woman, Anna discovers a simple but powerful ritual to attract abundance and the best of everything. At the end of this video, you will also learn this ritual to attract prosperity and lots of money this new year. Stay until the end, because this story will touch your heart. In a small house, where the walls were silent witnesses of difficult days, lived Anna, a noble and hard-working woman. From a very early age, the sun saw her go out in search of sustenance for her family. With tired hands, but with a heart full of love, Anna did not ask for riches or luxuries. She just wanted to offer her children a magical new year. A night where laughter would fill the house, where there would be a special dinner on the table and some gifts would rest under a humble tree, even if they were small. But with each passing day, the weight of poverty pressed more and more. Her pockets were empty, and her heart, although strong, was beginning to fill with sadness. The new year was approaching, and with it, the fear of not being able to fulfill that simple but beautiful dream. Sometimes, on calmer nights, Anna would sit by the window and look at the stars. Why, if I work so hard, can't I give the best to my children? It was a question that hurt her, but there was still a spark of hope inside her. Because in life, when desire is pure, the answers always find their way. And what Anna didn't know was that her story was about to change. One cold morning, Anna walked through the market with her almost empty bag. She had come only because she needed some bread, some rice, and maybe, if she had enough, some fruit for her children. The hustle and bustle of the market, with the shouts of the vendors and the constant murmur of people, seemed to envelop her, but Anna barely noticed. Her mind was caught in a spiral of worries. The bills she couldn't pay, the coats her children needed for the winter, and that New Year's Eve she dreamed of but felt was increasingly impossible. As she walked past the stalls, her attention was caught by a group of older women sitting together, talking quietly, but with an energy that stood out in the hustle and bustle of the market. Their faces were lined with wrinkles, but their eyes shone with something Anna hadn't seen in a long time. Hope. I did this last year, and you can't imagine. Things have changed. Prosperity has come to my house, one of them said, in a tone that seemed charged with certainty and experience. Anna, as if something was pushing her, slowed down. I couldn't look away from them. There was something in those words that resonated within him, as if they were speaking directly to him. It was like a call, a promise. And although shyness kept her at a distance, her curiosity was stronger than the weight of fatigue. With cautious steps, he got close enough to hear more clearly. The women spoke of 1,000 spiritual practices and simple rituals that, according to them, could open the doors to abundance. They mentioned simple objects, white candles, cinnamon, bay leaves, common things, but that apparently had a power that Anna had not considered before. It's not just what you do, another woman said softly. It's the intention you put in, the faith you have. When your heart is aligned with your actions, the universe responds. Anna felt something inside her move. Could it be possible, he wondered? What if something so simple could really make a difference in your life? What if there was a way to change your situation that required nothing more than hope and a few things you already had at home? Throughout the day, as he went about his daily tasks, those words continued to echo in his mind like an echo that was impossible to ignore. She carefully cooked the rice she had bought while her children played with laughter that filled the small space of their home. But even in those moments of joy, Anna felt the weight of reality. The little he had never seemed to be enough. Still, something had changed. For the first time in a long time, not all seemed lost. That conversation at the market planted a seed in his mind, a small spark that gave him the strength to imagine, even if only for a moment, that things could get better. That night, when the cold grew more intense and the wind blew through the cracks in the windows, Anna sat next to his favorite spot, the old wooden chair in front of the window. He looked up at the starry sky, searching for answers among the lights that flickered in the darkness. His thoughts were a whirlwind, but among them, one idea became clear. If this can help my children, if there is a chance, I have to try. At that moment, something changed in his heart. It wasn't certain, but it was hope. And sometimes, when everything seems dark, all it takes is a little light to remind us that there is always a way, even if we can't see it right away. Anna didn't know it yet, but that small decision to believe would be the first step on a journey that would change her life forever. As the days went by, the words of the market vendors continued to circle Anna's head every time she stopped to do some chore around the house, whether it was cleaning the floor or preparing food. The old woman's words about simple rituals and faith that moves mountains repeated in her mind like a constant murmur. But the more he thought about it, the more doubts he became. Would this really work? He wondered. How could something so simple change my life? That idea of abundance that would come with just a few common objects like cinnamon, candles, bay leaves. All of that seemed too easy, too good to be true. Of course, Anna wanted to believe. Who wouldn't want something so simple to transform their life? But the reality she lived every day left her skeptical. He had worked so hard, he had done everything he could, but the bills didn't add up, and that brilliant New Year's Eve remained a distant fantasy. The memories of past Christmases, always cold and silent, were still present in his mind, reminding him of what he had not been able to give his children. That night, when he finished cleaning the house and was getting ready for bed, murmurs of doubt began to occupy all his thoughts. What will others think if I do this? His friends, his family, all those who had always told him to work harder or be more practical didn't believe in those things, and Anna feared being seen as a fool, someone who clung to empty ideas. The mockery, the laughter behind his back, the looks full of disdain, all these things weighed on him. Did he really want to risk being a victim of his own hopes? It was so easy to say out loud that I will do this ritual. But the fear of not being understood paralyzed her. He remembered those times when he had tried other things, other solutions, and everything had gone wrong. What if this failed too? What if the effort was in vain? What if all I got was a little more disappointment? Insecurity took over his heart, and that small spark of hope he had felt at the beginning began to fade. For a few days, he couldn't stop thinking about the doubts. Every time she looked at the few ingredients she had bought at the market, something inside her said to her, "What are you doing, Anna? You don't have time for this. You can't believe in something so irrational." But there was something inside him that he couldn't fully reciprocate. Deep down, Anna knew she was desperate because she could no longer continue living in the same old routine. And then one night, while his children slept in the next room, he sat in front of the window, looking out at the cold darkness. In his chest, use and felt the weight of all the decisions he had made, of the opportunities he had not taken. She couldn't help but feel as if she was stuck in a rut with no way out. If only this could really change anything. If only it worked, she thought quietly. But if it failed, how would I feel? What if nothing changed? What if I just made a mockery of myself? This conflict between what she wanted and what she feared was starting to wear her down. The fear of the unknown, the shame of being seen as a dreamer, the fear of people laughing at her, all of it held her back. She didn't want to risk being even more disappointed. But at the same time, she couldn't help but wonder if this was the opportunity I'd been waiting for so long. The thought continued to haunt her mind. What if this simple ritual, so small and so accessible, was the change I'd been waiting for? But the insecurity continued to take hold of her. Anna felt trapped between her heart and her mind, between the desire to believe and the fear of being seen as a fool. In moments of doubt, she could almost hear the voices of the people around her, the voices that always told her not to waste time on these things. It's not real. Just work harder. Don't let yourself be carried away by this nonsense. And these comments, even though he didn't hear them every day, continued to resonate inside him like painful echoes, slowing down his momentum. Fear kept her still, but so did despair. She couldn't stop thinking about her children, about the New Year's Eve she dreamed of for them, about everything she wanted to offer them. Her love for her family was so great, so pure, that she began to wonder if it wouldn't be enough to take the step and try. If only I would try. If only I would have a little faith. Ina didn't know that that night, by allowing her heart to open to the possibility of something new, she was about to make the most important decision of her life. But she still had to face the doubts that tormented her so much. The next morning, Anna woke up early, the sun barely peeking through the window. The fresh morning air brought a sense of calm that she hadn't felt in a long time. After days of stress, fatigue, and worries about how to make New Year's Eve special for her family, she sat down for a few minutes to think about what she had learned from Donna Luz. I remembered the words of the key is in faith and intention. Although she still felt a mix of skepticism, something inside her told her that she should try. With a firm decision, Anna went for a walk, seeking some clarity in her mind. She walked through the quiet streets of the neighborhood, feeling the light breeze on her face. She didn't have a fixed direction, but without knowing why, her steps took her to a small store that she had never noticed before. The antique shop seemed almost forgotten, its sign hanging discreetly among the branches of a centuries-old tree, as if it were waiting to be discovered. Curious, Anna decided to go in. As she walked through the door, she was greeted by a mixture of incense and aged wood aromas. The atmosphere seemed calm, almost magical. Among the shelves full of ancient and mysterious objects, she saw an old woman with grey hair tied in a bun, a deep gaze that conveyed wisdom. She was sitting in a corner, skillfully weaving a silk tapestry with her wrinkled but agile hands. The old woman looked at her with a soft smile, as if she knew that Anna had come in search of more than just antique objects. "Can I help you, daughter?" he asked in a warm voice that enveloped the air. Anna, somewhat surprised by the woman's serenity, approached slowly without knowing why. She felt safe and comfortable in that place, as if she was about to receive an answer she had been looking for so long. He told her his concerns, his doubts about New Year's Eve, about how he wanted something more for his family, but didn't know how to achieve it. The old woman listened to her in silence, her face full of understanding. "I understand, daughter. New Year's Eve can be a time of great pressure, especially when a mother's heart wants the best for her children. But let me tell you something, my dear. Prosperity doesn't always come through the means we know. Sometimes it's in the simplest things, in what we truly carry within our hearts. Abundance is in the air, in the universe, and sometimes all we need to do is open ourselves to it with a calm mind," the old woman said with a deep look. Anna didn't fully understand, but something in the woman's words gave her peace. The old woman continued unhurriedly, as if each word were a seed planted in Anna's heart. "What I'm going to teach you is something very simple, but powerful. The key is in the intention and energy with which you perform each action. It's not magic or superstition, daughter. It's the connection with something greater, something we all have inside us but sometimes forget," the old woman explained. Anna started to get intrigued, but something still didn't convince her. "Did you just think that? Can something so simple really change anything? But the calm in the old woman's voice told her that she should try. Donna Luz smiled, as if she had read Anna's thoughts. And the first thing you're going to do is prepare your home, your heart, and your mind. You're going to create a sacred space, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. In this space, you're going to gather 3 simple but powerful things. A white candle, which symbolizes light in the darkness. A laurel branch, representing victory and protection. A pinch of cinnamon to attract prosperity and abundance. But before you start the ritual, you're going to clean the door. The door is the threshold between the outside world and the inside of your home, a place where energies enter and leave. Make sure it's clean, not just physically, but also spiritually. Clean the threshold with warm water, a little vinegar, and a pinch of salt. As you do this, imagine that you are purifying the energy that enters your home, removing any obstacles or negative energy. This step is essential, because only when the door is clean will prosperity be able to enter freely. Anna nodded, feeling slightly surprised by the importance that Donna Luz gave to details. After cleaning the door, you will prepare the cup of prosperity. Take a small cup and fill it with clean water. Then place a sprig of bay leaf and a bit of cinnamon and a couple of coins inside it. This cup symbolizes abundance flowing into your home. Place it next to the candle as a channel between your desire and the universe. Each time you look into the glass, remember that prosperity is already on its way. It is a reminder of the energy you are invoking. Anna listened attentively, processing each word. The woman was teaching her a complete ritual, 1,000 things that seemed so simple, but so full of meaning. "That's all, daughter," said Donna Luz, reading the doubt on her face. "The key is in the intention. Every night, before it gets completely dark, light the candle and place it in a place where it can shine without distraction. Place the bay leaf branch next to it and sprinkle a little cinnamon around it. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing the air to enter your body, bringing you to a state of calm. Then think of everything you wish for yourself and your family. Imagine every detail of the new year you dream of, the smile of your children when they receive a gift, the warmth of a shared dinner, the peace you wish for everyone." Donna Luz paused and with a soft smile continued, "There is more, my dear. You must prepare yourself to receive abundance. When performing this ritual, keep your heart open and free from doubt. Imagine that everything you desire is already on its way. You just need to believe in it." Anna remained silent, processing the simplicity of what he had told her. It was something so simple, but at the same time so profound. There was a peace in the old woman's words that made her doubts slowly disappear. "Thank you," Anna said with a shy smile, feeling for the first time that she had received something more than advice. "I will try. I don't know if it will work, but for my children I want to believe." Donna Luz felt her face light up with a wise smile. "Remember, my dear, that faith moves mountains, but also remember that sometimes abundance does not come only from what we expect. Keep your mind open and your heart willing to receive." As she left the store, Anna felt a slight transformation. Something inside her had changed. She didn't know exactly what, but she felt as if a first step had been taken and that maybe, just maybe, there was something greater waiting for her. The New Year's Eve, which had seemed so far away before, now didn't seem so far away. With a small spark of hope, he knew that what was to come could be much better, and in his heart, the desire for a more prosperous future for his family began to grow. The day after meeting Donna Luz, Anna woke up early with a sense of calm that she hadn't felt in a long time. As the sun began to rise, gently illuminating her home, Anna decided that that day would be different. He no longer wanted to just dream of a better new year. He wanted to do something to change his destiny, no matter how small the step. He remembered Doña Luz's words that echoed in his mind like a gentle faith that moves mountains. Before the children woke up, Ana began to prepare her house. The first task was to clean the door, as Doña Luz had recommended. The door, Ana thought, was the threshold through which everything that entered her life entered. If you wanted abundance and prosperity to cross your threshold, you needed to make sure the entrance was clean, free of any negative energy. With a clean cloth and some vinegar, Ana scrubbed every corner of the door. It was not only a physical cleansing, but also a symbolic one. As she cleaned, she felt as if she was removing the invisible barriers that kept her trapped in poverty. With each movement, she asked the universe to help her open the doors of prosperity, attracting the peace and abundance she so desired for her family. When she finished, Ana felt lighter, as if an invisible burden had been lifted from her shoulders. After cleaning the door, Ana prepared the cup of prosperity. She received instructions from Doña Luz to take a clear glass cup, fill it with water, and place inside it a bay leaf, a little cinnamon, and a pinch of salt. Ana took the ingredients with trembling hands, but with a heart full of hope. As she placed the laurel branch in the glass, she thought about the days of abundance she wished for her family. With the cinnamon, she imagined the sweetness of a new year filled with laughter and gifts. And when she added salt, she felt that she was purifying the energies, protecting her home from scarcity and bad vibes. When Ana finished, the glass shone in the soft morning light, as if it were charged with a special energy. "This is the glass that will help you attract prosperity," Doña Luz had told her. But Ana knew that it wasn't just the water or the ingredients that would make the difference. It was the intention, the love and the faith that went into each gesture. Finally, it was time to light the white candle. Doña Luz had explained to her that the candle symbolized light in the midst of darkness, a beacon that guided prosperity. Ana placed the candle in the center of the table, in front of the glass of prosperity. The candlelight softly illuminated the room, creating an atmosphere of peace. As she turned it on, Ana closed her eyes for a moment and took a deep breath. At that moment, she remembered Doña's words. The power of the ritual is not only in the objects, but in the faith and intention with which she performs it. What matters is what is in your heart. Ana understood that the ritual was not just a set of 1,000 physical actions, but an act of faith. It was a bridge between her desire and the universe, a way of opening her heart and inviting abundance into her life. With her hands clasped together, Ana began to focus on her desires. She thought of her children, her family, the love they shared, and the blessings she had yet to receive. In her mind, she visualized the perfect New Year's Eve, a table full of food, her children laughing as they opened their presents, a house full of affection and love. "May this new year be a time of prosperity and peace for my family," she thought strongly. "May this ritual, however small, open the doors to an abundance that transforms us, that fills us with hope." With each word, with each thought, Ana felt her heart fill with light. The candle burned brightly as a symbol of her faith, and the glass, with bay leaf, cinnamon and salt, seemed to glow with a soft light. Everything seemed to fit together, as if the universe was listening. Doña Luz had told her that it was not enough to do the ritual just once. Do it every night, daughter. With each repetition, with each positive thought, you will be cultivating a seed that will grow. Faith, perseverance, and intention are the roots that will support your tree of prosperity. Ana knew that it was not a magical act, but she felt that there was something profoundly transformative in what she had just done. Every night, from that moment on, she repeated the ritual. No matter how difficult the circumstances were, it did not matter if things did not change immediately. The intention, love, and faith she put into each gesture were the secret ingredients to change her destiny. As the candle slowly burned out, Anna felt a deep peace in her heart. It was as if the ritual had activated something in her, a spark of hope that propelled her forward. Although she could not yet see the results immediately, she knew that something was about to change, and with that thought she went to rest, certain that the new year of her dreams that she so desired for her family was getting closer and closer. The next day dawned like any other. Anna woke up before the rest of the house, as always. The sun was already beginning to shine through the cracks in the window, but she was still pensive, thinking about the ritual that old Donna Luz had taught her. From the moment she returned from the store, a slight feeling of hope began to grow in her heart, but a sea of doubts also surrounded her like a heavy blanket that did not let her breathe easily. At that moment, the noise of children playing in the hallway and the noise of the coffee maker running in the kitchen woke her from her reverie. Anna got out of bed with her mind full of decisions and confused feelings. Is it worth continuing with this ritual? She thought as she looked at herself in the mirror, trying to find an answer that resonated in her heart. Despite her enthusiasm for the idea of attracting prosperity, she knew she would face many obstacles. First of all, her husband, Carlos. He, always so practical and rational, never liked popular beliefs or mystical rituals. To him, all this talk about spiritual abundance and prosperity seemed like a waste of time, something unnecessary in his daily life. When she entered the kitchen, Anna found him sitting at the table with a cup of coffee in his hands, reading the newspaper. When she approached, he gave her a quick look, as if he was expecting her to talk to him about something more mundane. But seeing the determination on his face, Anna knew she could not keep putting it off. Carlos, I want to talk to you about something Donna Luz told me. I'm going to follow a ritual to attract prosperity this holiday season, Anna said softly but determinedly. Carlos raised an eyebrow and put the newspaper aside, concentrating fully on what he was about to hear. His face reflected skepticism, and Anna knew it, but she still needed to explain it to him. A ritual? What kind of ritual? Anna, are you going to waste your time with such things? You know I don't believe in such superstition. What we need is hard work, romances and herbs, he replied, barely leaving her room to speak. Anna felt a knot in her stomach. Her husband's words, although harsh, did not surprise her. Carlos had always been very logical and skeptical of anything that did not have a tangible or scientific basis. But somehow, she understood that not everything worthwhile can always be measured or explained with reason. Carlos, I'm not saying this will solve everything, but Mrs. Luz told me something important. Faith and intention are powerful. Sometimes small actions have a greater impact than we imagine, Anna said calmly, trying to make him see what she had learned. Carlos stared at her, as if deciding whether this conversation was worth it or if it was just a passing thought. Finally, he sighed and shook his head. Do what you think is best, but I don't want to see you disappointed. If things don't change right away, remember that life isn't that simple. Although Carlos's words made her hesitate for a moment, Anna didn't allow sadness to invade her heart. She knew he didn't understand, but she also knew she had the right to follow her own path, even if it was uncertain. With a forced smile, 2009 kissed him on the cheek and left to prepare breakfast. She couldn't let her husband's opinions stop her. At the same time, Anna felt the pressure of judgment from other people in her life. Her acquaintances, those who were often willing to give their opinion on what she did or didn't do, were quick to make their comments. Her neighbor, Don Alberto, with his eternally suspicious expression, was one of the first to criticize her. A ritual, Anna. Those things don't bring anything good. In my family, we've always based our lives on effort and not on stories, he had said at their last meeting when he saw her in the garden. That criticism, although not direct, left a mark on Anna's mind. Was she really a fool for trying something so unusual? Would it all be a waste of time? However, when Anna thought about Donna Luz's words, something inside her continued to resonate. The key is in the intention. The old woman had said that the true power of the ritual did not reside only in the objects, but in the faith placed in carrying them out. If he really wanted the ritual to work, he had to do it with a heart full of hope and without doubts. It was at that moment that he saw his children entering the kitchen. Carla, the oldest at 16, smiled when she saw her mother worried. She hugged him and said, "Mom, I remember the lady who helped us clean the house when we arrived. If she taught you anything, it will definitely work. I support you. I love the idea." Carlos, the youngest, with his 8 years of contagious energy, raised his hands and shouted, "I want to help too. Can I light the candle, Mom?" The support of her children made Anna smile inside. Although her husband didn't understand, they believed in her, and that was enough. Seeing her enthusiasm, she felt more confident in what she was doing. It's true that not everyone agreed, but the important thing is that she had the desire and faith that this could change something in her life. Anna explained to them what she had to do and involved them in every step of the ritual. Carla, with her usual seriousness, helped prepare the cup of prosperity, carefully placing the laurel branches and coins. Meanwhile, Carlos ran around the house to find the white candle his mother had mentioned. Beside him, Anna began to clean the door with vinegar and salt, while her children watched attentively. The atmosphere in the house began to change. Anna's doubt was still latent, but her children's energy, their enthusiasm and their smiles filled the room with hope. They were committed to her, willing to follow her example and make this ritual a tradition, even if no one else understood it. Throughout the day, the criticism from others and the internal doubts did not completely disappear, but Anna found comfort in the company of her children. Not everything was perfect, not everything was clear, but in that moment, surrounded by her family, she felt that something had changed, and that feeling of unity and support was more powerful than any obstacle or external criticism. The ritual had been completed, and although she did not know what would happen in the future, something inside Anna had changed forever. Faith, although still fragile, had settled in her heart, and perhaps this was the first step towards truly allowing prosperity to enter her life. A day after performing the ritual, Anna woke up with a strange feeling. She completed each step with faith, regardless of the doubts that surrounded her. But something inside her seemed different. The house, until then permeated by a slight atmosphere of tension, began to feel something new, as if fresh air had entered through the wide-open windows. "Is this the change you were waiting for?" he thought as he got out of bed. The sun was already beginning to pass through the curtains, painting the room with a soft, golden glow. Anna didn't want to jump to conclusions, but a feeling of calm and hope enveloped her. There was something magical in the air, something I couldn't see, but I could feel in every corner of the house. She decided not to give too much importance to that feeling. After all, she didn't want to get too emotional. She didn't want to let herself be carried away by false expectations. When she went down to the kitchen, she found her children sitting at the table, talking and laughing as always. Carla, with her calm and serious nature, seemed more relaxed than usual. Carlos, the little one, was chatting animatedly about something he had learned at school. Anna smiled at him, happy to see them so happy, as if the weight of everyday life had begun to dissipate from their hearts. It was at that moment that the doorbell rang. Anna approached, a little surprised. I wasn't expecting visitors at that moment, much less anything related to the ritual. She opened the door and, to her surprise, there was Dom Alberto, the neighbor who had always criticized Anna's popular beliefs. "Good morning, Donna Anna," said Dom Alberto with a smile on his face that Anna had never seen before. "Go. I've got something for you. My wife made extra food and I thought you might need it. I know sometimes they don't have much help, and I thought it would do you both good." Anna looked at him in bewilderment. During all the years they had lived together in the neighborhood, Don Alberto had always been a serious and distant man who rarely interacted beyond a friendly greeting. But that morning I was there with a bag full of home-cooked food, bread, some stews, one piece of fresh fruit. "What a surprise, Don Alberto. Thank you very much. You don't know how much we appreciate you." Anna responded with a genuine smile, even though she couldn't believe what she saw. Don Alberto looked at her for a moment, and although he seemed a little uncomfortable, he continued, "Okay, it's not a big deal. Sometimes you forget about others, and although I have always believed that life depends on you, I believe that things can also get better if we help each other. I just wanted you to know." Anna, with a heart full of gratitude, accepted the offer and thanked him profusely. Dom Alberto, after a brief greeting, said goodbye and left the house, leaving Anna and her children staring at the bag of food, amazed at what had just happened. Was this the first small miracle of the ritual? As Anna thought about this strange and wonderful moment, the house phone rang. It was a call I had not expected. "Hello, Anna. How are you?" "I'm Jose, from the graphic design company. I wanted to tell you that we have finally settled the outstanding payment for the work you did months ago. The check is now ready to be cashed." Anna was silent for a moment, looking at her children in disbelief. He had done a project for Jose's company months ago, but had never received the full payment. He had almost completely forgotten about this debt, having resigned himself to the idea that it would never come. But now, unexpectedly, everything changed. "This is wonderful. Thank you very much, Jose." "I'll pick you up as soon as I can," Anna said, trying to remain calm, although her voice was shaking with emotion. He hung up the phone, feeling $1 being lifted from his shoulders. The money he had been waiting for was finally arriving. This can't be a coincidence, he thought. It's the result of the 1,000 rituals that abundance is beginning to flow into our lives. That day, as the house continued with its daily chores, Anna couldn't stop thinking about the two very unusual events she had just experienced. The unexpected support from Dom Alberto, which she would never have imagined before, and the payment that had finally arrived for a debt she had almost forgotten about. Everything seemed to be falling into place, as if the pieces of a puzzle had fitted perfectly and without logical explanation. Something wonderful was happening. The atmosphere in Anna's house had completely changed. What had previously seemed like a heavy routine, full of worries and stress, was now infused with a different energy, a lighter and happier energy. Her children, always optimistic, began to notice the change. "Mom, everything is better, right?" Carla said, smiling with a calmness she had never shown before. "I don't know what you did, but the house feels different, calmer, happier." Carlos, the youngest, was also excited. "Yes, Mom, even I feel that something is changing. We can do the ritual every month." Anna looked at them both, feeling deep gratitude. The doubt he had about whether the ritual could really bring about change was beginning to dissipate. "Yes, maybe this is just the beginning," he thought. "Maybe what I have been doing with so much love and faith is really opening the door to something better." That night after dinner, Anna sat with her children on the couch. Together, they talked about what had happened during the day, shared their thoughts and dreams, and felt closer than ever. The house was filled with laughter and joy, something they had not experienced in a long time. The ritual, although it had started with a simple action, generated a wave of change that seemed to touch every corner of their lives. Anna looked at her family and felt deep down that everything she had done, no matter how small it seemed, was worth it. And so, with her heart full of hope and renewed peace, she prepared to move forward, certain that the miracle had already begun to manifest in her home. New Year's Eve arrived with a fresh and serene air, as if the entire universe had conspired to give Anna the opportunity to be reborn. The house, which in previous years had been marked by uncertainty and financial worries, now felt filled with a new peace. Every corner seemed to glow with a soft, warm light, as if the energy of abundance had seeped through the walls. Anna looked at her home with a gratitude she had never felt before, even though there were still no great luxuries. Anna's heart was full of hope. The dinner she had planned was not the biggest or most luxurious, but for her it represented something much more valuable. It was a symbol of everything she had achieved throughout the year, of the struggle and the faith she had kept alive even in the darkest moments. A simple but tasty stew, some fresh salads, and some small homemade delicacies. The table was set with great care, and the family was preparing to share a special evening. Despite the financial difficulties, Anna managed to save some money to buy small gifts for her children. They were not expensive items, but they had meaning. He gave Carla a book he knew she would love, a book she had been wanting to read, and he gave Carlos a box with his favorite candy. Both gifts, although modest, were received with smiles of pure happiness. When Anna saw the joy in her children's eyes, she understood what love, unity, and gratitude really mattered. Sometimes, he thought, material gifts were not the most important thing. True wealth lies in sharing meaningful moments, in being there for each other, and in recognizing the blessings that, although often invisible, were always around you. The family sat down at the table, and Anna, with deep satisfaction in her heart, said a short prayer of gratitude, not only for the food or the gifts, but for the peace she had found within herself, for the opportunity to start over. He was grateful for each of the small miracles he had experienced, from the unexpected support from his neighbor to the payment that came like a ray of light in his life. As they ate dinner, the children talked about their dreams and hopes for the coming year, and Carla expressed her desire to study more and help her mother keep the house in order. Carlos, with the innocence of his young age, commented that his greatest wish was for everyone to be happy. Anna looked at them both with her heart full of emotion. How could he have believed that life had no meaning? At that moment, she realized that true abundance is not measured by the size of objects, but by the magnitude of shared feelings. As the night progressed, the family settled into the living room. Anna could not help but think about everything that had happened during the year, the difficulties, the sacrifices, the doubts, but also the learning, the moments of love and strength. This new year did not represent just a material celebration, but a profound transformation. At the end of the night, Anna retired to her room. As she prepared to rest, she looked out the window, watching the stars shining in the sky. There was much to do, there were still dreams to fulfill. But that new year, Anna felt that she had taken a great step towards abundance, not only materially, but mainly in love, gratitude, and inner peace. She knew that the changes she had begun to attract were not only external in nature, but above all, they were brewing within her. The ritual, the small miracles, and above all, her own internal transformation made this New Year's Eve different, brighter, fuller. Closing her eyes, Anna whispered a prayer of thanksgiving, knowing that the coming year would bring even more blessings, not only for her, but for her entire family, because the true reward for all this was not what I received, but what I learned to love, to have hope, faith, and gratitude. And with that, Anna knew that her life would always be filled with abundance. If this story touched your heart and inspired you to believe in the small miracles that life has to offer, don't forget to subscribe to our Buddhist Energy channel. Here, you will find more stories full of hope, wisdom, and love. Share this message with your loved ones, and remember that true abundance begins within us. Thank you for joining us on this journey of 1,000 transformations. We wish you a prosperous new year full of peace, love, and blessings.